Om Asato Ma Sadgamaya Tamaso Ma Jyotirgamaya Mrityorma Mrutangamaya Om Shanti 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 Harihi Om. O Lord, please lead us from unreal to the reality, from ignorance to the knowledge, and from death to immortality. Om, peace, peace, peace. Dear devotees and spiritual aspirants, today we are having an interesting topic, that is Vedantic oneness. The Vedantic oneness, which today I am going to discuss, it is based on Swami Vivekananda's practical Vedanta. Whoever is following my lecture series, Saturday lecture series, you'll be very well aware that we had already discussed, we had three lecture series or three lectures on Swami Vivekananda's practical Vedanta. And previous week or 2 weeks before, we had discussed how, by understanding who am I, how it can bring confidence in me, and how it can be manifested in every walk of life. How can I be fearless? How can I be an achiever? How can I be a contributor? And how can make my dreams fact or reality? Now, the last part of the Swami Vivekananda's lecture, that is Practical Vedanta 1 and the Practical Vedanta 2, or the beginning of the Practical Vedanta 2. So more or less I am combining, and today I am discussing the idea about Vedantic oneness. The Vedantic oneness itself is a very interesting and fascinating idea, because the empirical science and the spiritual science both are struggling, or both have tried, and both are trying to find out the oneness, the unitary of existence. By knowing one, everything will be known. How can it be? That is what the question started from Mundaka Upanishad. The Mundaka Upanishad starts with this question. The student asked the teacher, "Oh teacher, please tell me, by knowing one, everything can be known." What a beautiful, what a fascinating idea. Even today, if you see, the science is also actually discussing about it. Let me come. But for a common man who is not very great intellectual and who is not really contemplative, for him, if you say oneness, he will feel bored actually. On the lighter side, if you see, for example, every day you have got the same breakfast. Every day, say bread and butter or bread and jam. Every day, same breakfast. Oh, it is boring. It is monotonous. And many times people do ask us, "Oh, Swami, we feel very pity. I feel very sorry for you." Why? Because you have to wear same type of cloth every day. At least we change different color clothes we use. And in your case, you have to use same type of cloth, same colored cloth the whole of your life. We really feel pity for you. There's no change in your life. So for them, it is a sign of monotonous. So in our life, in our action, in our rest, we need diversity. The mind seeks change. The mind seeks change. I'm not saying that it is wrong, but that's what. But whereas in the most cases of the spiritual aspirants and monks, it will be same life, because that is one of the easiest way to control the mind. People who doesn't enjoy it, they will call it as monotonous. The people who enjoy the self, who tries to live inside or live in the God, then for them this monotonous life will not be boring. Now coming to the empirical science, behind the theory of oneness or the unitary existence, they have given a hypothetical theory called Big Bang theory. And interestingly, in 1927, the Belgium, one of the priests, he was astronomer, and he was also a professor, George He suggested that the expanding universe might be traced back to a single point of origin that is called a singularity. And afterwards, so many people have discussed about it. And there is a Thomas and Brain, in one of his book they discuss. There was no place in the universe that was separate from the originating power of the universe. Each thing of the universe had its very root in this realm. Means basically they are trying to tell that there was one thing, and from that the whole thing has come. Now, what does this Big Bang theory tells? The Big Bang theory tells also same thing, that the most physicists believe that universe was born 13 billion years or 14 billion years before. There was a bang. There was a bang sound. So basically, there was a bang, and the whole universe or the creation started. And before that bang, whatever the material was there, how it was in the form, they say before that creation started, whatever the Big Bang happened, before that, there was a tiny thing which was probably smaller than a sand, even sand particle. In that, there was an energy. The whole cosmic energy was squeezed inside in a inconceivable small space, and what do you say, lot of energy, heat, everything was there, and the whole cosmos, the whole universe has been emerged from this. Thus, the unimaginingly hot and dense cauldron, for whatever reason, ballooned at a terrifying state. Now, if you see, they're saying that there was something which was even lesser than the sand particle, probably with full of dense energy, condensed energy with the heat, and there was a bang, and from that one small particle or from that small energy mass, the whole creation has come. Living beings, non-living beings, birds, animals, reptiles, mammals, atoms, human beings, all different type of materials, aquatic animals, terrestrial animals, water, sky, space, everything has been emerged from there. So they are trying to tell that there was only one thing which was a condensed form of mass or energy or whatever. From that, the whole world has been emerged. So basically, they are also trying to find out this empirical science that there's a one thing by which the whole universe has been created. Sentient beings, insentient beings, etc., etc. And there's a beautiful book, I think it is edited by Philip and others, Theory of Oneness or Oneness Hypothesis. That's also a very interesting book. Whoever is interested, one can read. And there's Antony also has written, Russell Antony has written a beautiful book, The Principle of Oneness. There he makes a beautiful, interesting comment. Just I will tell and I'll go further. It explains that everything in the universe, both seen and unseen, is connected and part of one entity. Russell says that the principle of oneness is nothing but it explains that everything in the universe, both seen and unseen, are manifested and unmanifested, is connected, they're connected, and they're part of one entity. So today, more or less, the science is also accepting that there is a one entity by which the whole diversified universe has come. And for me, Albert Einstein is always my dear person for me because of his philosophical outlook, apart from his scientific temperament or whatever. So I always admire. So Albert Einstein also has given a beautiful idea, beautiful his own understanding about this. Let me read for you. Quote, a human being is a part of the whole called by us universe. He experiences himself, his thoughts and feelings as something separated from the rest, a kind of optical delusion. A human being is a part of the whole called by us universe. So, human beings are part of the universe, we understand. He experiences himself, his thoughts and feelings as something separated from the rest. So, my body is separate from the world. I am separate from others or whatever. This notion is a optical delusion of the consciousness, according to Albert Einstein. This delusion is kind of a prison for us. restricting us to our personal desires and to affection for a few persons nearest to us. Our task must be to free ourselves from this prison by widening our circle of compassion to embrace all living creatures and the whole of nature in its beauty. Again, what a magnanimous, what a beautiful idea. So, because I am separate from everyone, or everyone is individual, different, because of this notion, we are all suffering, or we are having attachment and attraction and aversion. We love and hatred. All these dualities are why? Because I am separate from the world. I am separate from you. You are separate from him. He is separate from her. Because of that prison which we have developed, or which our mind is developed, portrayed, because of that, all these problems are there. So, what to do? Increase your circumference, means start accepting, or start through compassion, love, mercy, or whatever, you try to embrace the whole humanity is saying that. So basically, whatever the Vedanta is saying, the same idea Albert Einstein is also telling. Now, some of you might feel, so Swamiji, oh, you are all, I mean, very big things you are telling, or probably can you tell in a layman's language this idea? Some of you might feel, fine, I don't say no. So, just I will give an example how our perceptions are, how our mind is deceiving the unity and it is replacing the diversity or differentiation or multiplicity. For example, because there is a history in Ireland, the Dublin people and Cork people will never go together because Cork was the old capital of the Ireland. So till the people who live in the Cork, they believe that that is maybe, and they try to establish that they are something better than Dublin people. Now Dublin people say, well, that may be history. Now this is the capital of the Ireland, and things are better here, etc., etc. Now you see, the people who are living in Dublin, they have some anti or antagonized or some hot exchange of words with the Cork people, the people who are living in the Cork. May not be all, some of them. The people who are living in the Cork, they have got antagonized or they have got some hot exchange of words with Dublin because of this history. Same thing with the Republic of Ireland. The people who are living in Republic of Ireland with the Northern Ireland also. There's a history again. Now, the people living in the Dublin and the Cork, they feel that they are different and they have got difference of opinions, they have got exchange of hot words or whatever. Say for discussion's sake, tomorrow, because London or England colonized the Ireland for 10 centuries. Tomorrow again, if the England tries to capture the Ireland, then do you think that Dublin and Cork people will stay differently and they will fight? No, they will come together, and for the Ireland's sake, they will get united and they will fight. Only in Ireland, Dublin is different, Cork is different. But when it comes to England and Ireland, Dublin and Cork got united because we are all Irish people. We belong to the Ireland. So they get united and they may fight with, they may, quarrel with the England people. Now, say from Middle East or from Asia, some are attacking. Then the whole Europe get united. England, Ireland, Scotland, or any other countries, they get united and they may quarrel or they may fight with the Asia or Middle East people. Now, it started with Dublin and Cork separate. Now, slowly, when it comes to Europe continent or between countries, they get united. And between continents, again, whole of different countries of Europe is getting united. And when it comes to, for example, suddenly aliens come from different, maybe Mars. No, the people who are living in the earth, maybe from America, maybe from Europe, maybe from Asia, or maybe from Africa, or maybe from Australia, everyone get united to save their planet called Earth. Now, the people, if at all, if they come tomorrow to occupy the place of the Milky Way galaxy, say, our solar system, the people who are living in Mars and the people who are living in Earth, they may get united and they may fight for their right, because we are in this solar system, you are in some other solar system, get out. Now someone comes from other galaxy and the people who are living in Milky Way galaxy, they get united and they will fight with others. It is a very hypothetical argument I'm speaking, I know that, but this is also a fact. It started from the Dublin and Cork. Now we can go to Milky Way galaxy. Then people are getting united, people are getting united, people are getting united. So that's what Swami Vivekananda says that. When you leave at the level of, what do you say, physical level, when your mind is thinking more and more at the level of matter, when you start thinking at the level of physical level, you see more diversities, more differentiations between people, between animals, between things, and etc. The more and more you travel, the more and more you evolve in your thinking, then the differentiations loses to exist or ceases to exist, and you will see that there is a one connecting unity, which is consciousness, according to the Vedanta. So the oneness and the difference, whatever is there, it is all because of my mind. First I was struggling with the Dublin and Cork, but when it comes to with other country, again I got united, you see. So the all diversification or our experience of diversity, whatever is there, it is in our mind, not externally. That's what the Vedanta is saying that. Whatever you see diversity, that is because of your mind, not exactly. It exists. So that is what the Vedantic oneness. And I will give one more example, probably you will understand. There are different type of furnitures in our house. Wooden table, wooden chair, wooden dining table, wooden study table, and wooden almara, whatever. So many things. You purchased every item. So when we are using it as a different. But if you see objectively, all of them are nothing but the manifestation of the wood. The wood has been cut in a particular way and it has been joined in a particular way. It has been joined, it has got a particular form also, never mind. Because of different forms and utility, so different names are given. But if you remove the wood from all of them, all these wooden furnitures ceases to exist. So the wood is been appearing as different forms, and because for our communication purpose we have given different names. So one wood is appearing as many objects, many different objects. Same thing with when you see different type of matter is there. Water, and in the water from leafy river water and the water from the Ganges from India. Two different things. But when you see as a liquid state, both are water. Then when you compare from the energy and the liquid, different states actually. But when you start seeing from the atom's point of view, then either in the gas or the liquid, again, my understanding, my perception changes. The more and more you evolve, the more and more you go above, not physically, I mean to say, intellectually and mentally, you'll be able to see the unity. Because we are living at the level of matter, at the physical level, that's why we are all seeing, or our mind is making us to see differentiations. That is what the Vedanta is saying that. That's what Swami Vivekananda is also says that there is but one life, one world, one existence. Everything is that one, and the difference is degree and not in the kind. Again, this is what the Swamiji statement. There is one life, one world, one existence. Everything is that one. The difference is in degree and not in kind. That is what Swami Vivekananda is saying. This is what the Vedantic oneness I'm used to. So the difference is in degree and not in kind. Now, how to understand this? And by understanding what I am going to get it is a very interesting point actually. Swamiji brings the difference and he explains this phenomenal idea, taking the example of saint and sinner. Now, what is the difference between the saint and what is the difference between the sinner? Oh, saint has got a lot of divine qualities. He's a good person, he's a saintly person, and sinner, or he's a wretched or whatever, because he has got a lot of bad qualities, wrong qualities, etc. That's why he's a sinner. And we have got our own perceptions, our own views, or our own understandings. Now, Swami Vivekananda makes a very interesting point here. What is the difference between the saint and sinner? If you ask, Swami Vivekananda defines, in the sinner, there is the less manifestation of the divinity, and in the saint, the manifestation of the divinity is more, that's all. So the difference is in only in degree, not in kind. This is what. So what is the corollary of this? So the saint and sinner are in the same path. Someone is in further, someone is in front, someone is in back. By that, you need not to love anyone, you need not to hate anyone. Or you need not to get attracted by anyone, you need not to get aversion by anyone, love everyone, because the divinity is there in saint and sinner alike. So I can embrace the entire humanity. So the Vedantic oneness helps us to develop the love towards everyone. You may from different caste, different sex, different religion, different culture, different civilizations, different ethnicities, but I can embrace everyone, saying that because the divinity manifests in everyone. That is the beauty of this Vedantic oneness. And it takes one more interesting example, the difference between amoeba and the human being. What is the difference? Oh, in the amoeba, it is a unicellular organism, and human being is a multicellular organism. That's the one difference which biology gives. And amoeba is the very primitive life, and in human being, there's a lot of evolution has happened, which is a complex organism. That's what biology may thinks. But again, Swami Vivekananda says that between the amoeba and the human being, only the difference is the manifestation of the divinity. That's all. In the amoeba, the manifestation of the divinity is primitive or is very less, and in the human being, the manifestation of the divinity can be higher. So again, the manifestation of the difference is divinity is only in degree, not in the kind. And he says, difference between weakness and strength is one of degree. Difference between virtue and vice is of degree. Difference between heaven and hell is of degree. Difference between life and death is of degree. And all differences in the world are of degree and not of kind. Because oneness is the secret of everything. And based on this, probably in the Nyaya Siddhanta, because they accept that the darkness or abhava, it is not darkness, abhava. Absence is an important, an independent entity actually. Padartha, they say, individual independent padartha. The Vedantins doesn't accept. Why? Because what is the absence? I mean, what is abhava? It is absence of something, that's all. It cannot be independent, it cannot give an independent existence. So the shadow of the understanding of the divinity can be brought even the Nyaya philosophy. That's what I mean to say. So the moment when you understand, when you accept the Vedantic oneness, then what happens? Swamiji says that condemn none, criticism none, and hate none, and rather you will love everyone, you will embrace everyone. Now, love and attachment, there are two different things. We should not get confused. We can love everyone and we should love everyone, but we should not get attached. Generally, for us, love means attraction or attachment, because for that we suffer. So it is not the case. I mean, love is not doesn't mean attachment or attraction. Love is just love. And opposite to that, hatred, enmity, aversion. Because of that, lot of energies gets wasted, lot of energy is getting drained out. That is the reason we should love if possible. If not, don't hate, don't get aversion. That's what Swami Vivekananda is saying. It is based on the Vedantic oneness. And he also brings a beautiful, again, interesting point is the saint and the sinner. What is the saint is a person who has got more strength. What is that strength? The strength of divinity. And in the sinner, the strength of divinity is less. And the divinity is manifested in the higher level in the saint, and the divinity is manifesting in the level of at the physical level, or at the desires, to fulfill the desires in a wrong way or in a wrong path or in a wrong direction. That's where the sinner also has got a lot of willpower, but it is channelized in a wrong direction. So, Swami Vivekananda says one is manifesting the divinity in a positive aspect or positive way, and one is manifesting the divinity in the negative angle or a negative in the negative channel. That's what the difference between the saint and the sinner. And also, apart from that, he says that the moment when you understand the consciousness or whatever, you can be happy at all times. So when Swami Vivekananda, when he says that you can be happy at all times, that doesn't mean that situations will change. Like external situations may not change, or the situation in my house, my living place doesn't change, or in my factory or in my working place doesn't change. or the in and around my environment may not change, but I will change. I can be happiest person. There may be problems may be coming and going, but I will be undisturbed. There's a very interesting story, story of the great Advaita, and probably when I explain, you'll be able to understand. The story goes like this. The story is a great Advaitic saint by name Sadashiva Brahmendra. He comes from southern part of India. He used to live in the bank of the Kaveri River. One fine day, he was sitting in the deep meditation, where the Advaitic meditation or contemplation. He was deep, and there was a heavy rain. And Kaveri River, in those days, there were no dams or whatever. The Kaveri River was started overflowing. And people, just to take care of themselves, to protect their family and all, they went to the other upper area where they can save themselves. And no one bothered about this Sadashiva Brahmendra. But Sadashiva Brahmendra was unaware of this rain and all, because he was in deep meditation and he was enjoying himself. And floods has washed his body, and somewhere basically he was got in the mud. And because of the floods and other things, so much sand has covered his body and he's unaware. Few days over, and flood has been subsided, and people again came back into the normal life. Few days or few weeks might be over, or 1 or 2 weeks at least. One fine day, a villager, nearby a villager, wanted to build a house for some work, so he wanted some sand. So he came to the bank of Kaveri. There was a lot of sand, so he started using the spade or whatever. He was started filling with the bullock cart the sand. Few bags of sand he had filled, and while he was putting the spade to carry the sand, suddenly he felt there is some soft portion, and his spade has been soaked with the blood. All of a sudden, he got, astonished, and he was terrified also. Then slowly he started digging in and around that place. Then he found Sadashiva Brahmendra's body actually. But interestingly, Sadashiva Brahmendra was with still life. He is not dead. And blood is profusely bleeding. Suddenly he got annoyed and he was a bit fearful also. He brought the Kaveri water and he did some first aid, and Sadashiva Brahmendra came to senses and he got up. Now imagine, a lot of blood is oozing out. There was a good cut on his head, but if any one of us would have cried, would have screamed, would have cursed that fellow. But for everyone's astonishment, there is no mental reaction in Sadashiva Brahmendra. Neither he cursed nor he asked why what has happened, or let us go to hospital. He didn't say anything. Just he's experiencing that place, and with smilingly he's seeing that fellow. The other fellow said, "Sir, sorry, I didn't know that somehow you were there in the sand, and I was taking the sand, and that's how I found you. And there's a profuse bleeding. Come on, let us go to hospital," or whatever he said. So Sadashiva Brahmendra didn't hear anything. Mostly, he got up and he started just walking. The blood is profusely bleeding, but he was not aware. He was unaware of all these things. Just he's walking. He was not aware of his physical body. Even that pain, whatever is there, he didn't bother. He was experiencing that Brahmananda, or the bliss which has been originated by that Brahman. And one more interesting story is there with him. And most of the time, when he attained the ultimate realization, he was a Jivan Mukta. Many times, even he was not wearing even dress. In a nude form, he used to walk. One fine day, he was, not aware of the external situation and people who are there in and around. In the nude, in a nude form only, he's walking. In those days, Muslims were started acquiring or invading India and started ruling. A small area in Tamil Nadu also was under the control of a Muslim king. He, with his family, with his lady, wife, children and all, they came for some reason. They were on the way, and they had put a tent, and they were all leaving. And the whole family is inside the tent. The king came out for some reason, and nearby the tent, the Sadashiva Brahmendra is going in the nude form, without any clothes. Obviously, no one likes it, and this Muslim king, he got it very furiated. He called him not to go in that particular path because their family people are there. Sadashiva Brahmendra didn't hear and is continue. He shouted, loudly, but there was no response from Sadashiva Brahmendra. Then, because he's a king, he had a sword, and he went, and with anger, he cut the he cut the one of the hand of the Sadashiva Brahmendra. But you very well imagine the one hand has been cut, Sadashiva Brahmendra is unaware, just is walking, is continuing his walking. When there was no reaction in Sadashiva Brahmendra, and with that same face or in the same, without any reaction, the person, when he started continuing his walking, then slowly this Muslim king started understanding that he's not an ordinary man. No ordinary man can do like this. He's something really great person. It is a miracle, and it was basically a mirage for him actually. Then he took the hand, actually the physical hand he took in the Muslim king. He took that hand in his hands, and he started running behind Sadashiva Brahmendra. He went, he fell at his feet, and he holded his feet, and he asked pardon because someone was holding Sadashiva Brahmendra's feet very firmly and praying. Then Sadashiva Brahmendra came to senses, and he started understanding there is some problem. Then he asked what happened. Then he said, "Sir, I didn't understand. Who are you? I was angry and I have cut your hand. Sorry and all." Sadashiva Brahmendra laughs, and he gives his hand. And Sadashiva Brahmendra, as if it's just like a toy, he takes the one hand into left hand into his right hand, and he continues walking. See, when we experience the self, or when we establish in ourselves, nothing can shake us. All these things we hear in Upanishads, we hear in scriptures, but literally, the saints who have experienced the truth, they are undisturbed. So they are well established. Whoever is established in the self, nothing can disturb them. We can see in the life of Buddha, we can see life of Swami Vivekananda, we can see in the life of many great people's life. So whatever we read, this Advaitic oneness, the moment we understand, the moment we experience, we can live happily at all times. And that's where the goal of Vedanta is what? Atyantika dukkha nivrutti and Paramananda prapti. The complete cessation of suffering and the experience of eternal bliss. Today I'm happy. Yesterday I was happy. Tomorrow I may be happy. Day after tomorrow, okay. After a week, I'm not sure. I can't be. Because some problem or some situation can disturb my mindset, my peace. So my happiness is limited with a limited quantity and with limited time. So that's why Atyantika Dukkha Nivritti is there is a complete cessation of suffering. No more suffering, no more unhappiness, no more morose, no more sorrow. That is the goal of Vedanta. Then is it neutral state? No, it is with full of positivity. That is what? Ananda Prapti, Paramananda Prapti. Attaining the supreme bliss eternally, not for given moment of time, not for few moments. That is what the greatness of the Advaita Vedanta. Now, when we hear all these things, we may get a question, or we may get a doubt. Oh, Sadashiva Brahmendra, that type of state, I think it is not possible for us. Or maybe, I don't know. And one thing, and second thing is this Advaitic oneness, Nirvikalpa Samadhi, are experiencing who am I, and experiencing that I am divine. All of them are, is it possible? Or is it hypothetical? Whatever, this question may come, and this question should come for most of us as a spiritual aspirants. And Swami says here beautifully that that's why it is called practical Vedanta. Yes. So these are not mere hypothetical arguments. These are not meant for few. It is for everyone. It is not only for monks. It is not only for mendicants, or it is not only for people who are highly intellectual or who live in the solitude. It is for everyone, either a monk or a mendicant or a person who is living in the forest dweller, or who is a monarch, or who is an aristocrat, who is a bureaucrat, or any common person. Everyone can practice Advaita Vedanta in their life. That's where, from this angle, this is what practical Vedanta. But he also makes a very interesting note with this practical Vedanta. So what do I mean as a practical Vedanta? What do I mean practical? He says, generally when we bring the ideal, we bring down the ideal to our level, and uses the beautiful, very strong word. You bring the philosophy at the level of the language of the flesh, and you say that that is practical. You bring down the ideal to your level, to the level of flesh and to the level of worldly pleasures or whatever, and they say that that is practical. I don't mean that. Then what is that practical? I should raise myself to the highest ideal, whatever is given by Vedanta, and it has to be put into practice. It has to be translated into my experience, fact of experience. That is what I mean, practical. So all these ideas, whichever is Upanishads is speaking or Vedanta is speaking, it is practical, means it can be practiced by everyone from every walk of life. That's the one thing, and we have to raise ourselves to that highest ideal. This is second part. And the third thing is, very interestingly, he says that by practicing Vedanta, we are saying that Jagat Mithya doesn't mean that you have to get away from the world. You have to negate the world. You have to nullify the world. No. Rather, you have to remove the wrong notion, that's all. So, Vedanta never places the impossible ideal before us. This is a very interesting thing which Swamiji is speaking. The practical Vedanta, which includes the Vedantic oneness, so which is never impossible, or which is the Vedanta is not placing the impossible ideal in front of us, but it is difficult to understand, accept, and practice. That Vedanta also accepts. It is not impossible, but it is possible. It is difficult. Okay. And it also says that anyone and everyone, anywhere and everywhere can be practiced. So, what does it mean? You not to go to monastery, or you not to leave away all your life, all your achievements, all your work or actions, and you have to keep yourself for something and dedicate yourself to something and leave away everything. Then only Vedanta is possible. No. If you are, for an example, athlete, yes, you can continue as an athlete in your profession and you can practice Vedanta. Someone is probably an officer in a company, or in a maybe CEO of a company, or an officer in a government organization. Yes, he can continue his work and he can put into practice. He can practice Vedanta in his personal life and also in his professional life. That is what the beauty of the Advaita Vedanta. So that's why he says. But one thing I have marked, that it is only those that never want to reconcile the man of flesh with the man of truth that make progress. Wherever there is this false idea of reconciling fleshly vanities with the highest ideals, of dragging down God to the level of man, there comes decay. Man should not be degraded to worldly slavery, but should rise up to the God. So we should not reduce to the slavery, worldly slavery, but rather we should raise ourselves to the God. And one more thing, Swamiji tells very interestingly. So by practicing Vedanta, what happens? It is with full of strength. You will have the fearlessness, and you will leave away, you will shun away the weakness, and you will be with full of strength. He says that Vedanta, being reminded of weakness, does not help much. Give strength, and strength does not come by thinking of weakness all the time. The remedy for weakness is not brooding over weakness, but thinking of strength. Teach men of the strength that is already within them. Instead of telling them they are sinners, the Vedanta takes the opposite position and says, you are the pure and perfect, and what you call sin does not belong to you. So it is with full of positivity. And very interestingly, one more thing is telling that the idea, whatever the Vedanta is telling, that the knowledge of the Brahman is practical. The word is always seeking the practical possibilities of religion, and we find in these stories how it was becoming more and more practical every day. The truth was shown through everything with which the students were familiar. The fire they were worshipping was Brahman, the earth was part of Brahman, and so on. And here, one more thing, very interestingly, Swamiji speaks is that you need not to leave the world. You need not to leave all these things, but rather you have to leave the, what do you say, wrong notion. And he says, very interesting, this millions of years have passed since man first came here, and yet but one infinitesimal part of his powers has been manifested. Therefore, you must not say that you are weak. How do you know what possibilities lie behind that degradation of the surface? You know but little of that which is within you, for behind you is the ocean of infinite power and blessedness. So this is where I really enjoy and really admire the practical Vedanta of Swamiji. He's saying that even 1 millionth of the power which is there as a consciousness or the self or the Brahman is not manifested, it seems. So 1 point, I mean 0.0001 has been manifested at the most. Still, it is yet to manifest. And we are the part of that, and we are that consciousness, we are that self, and we are that embodiment of strength. How much one can manifest? And then why are you closing your eyes? And why are you saying that you are weak and whatnot? And one more interesting point is that the Vedanta is to see or experience the God or the Lord or the consciousness in everywhere, in everything, to see things in their real nature, not as they appear to be. See things as they are and not appear to be. That's what the again Vedantic oneness. So there are some things as it is. So you have to see as it is, but not as an appearance. So the theory of appearance is what nothing but the what do you say Maya. And so whatever we know, using that, the Vedanta is trying to tell the theory and etc. And one more important point which I would like to tell you is here too, we see the same idea of practical religion. The things which they were worshipping, such as the fire, the sun, the moon, and different deities, and so forth, and the voice with which they were familiar from the subject of the stories, which explain them and give them a higher meaning. He is mentioning about the two stories. I think one is Upakosala, and this from I think Chandogya Upanishad, and one more was Satyakama. You know, now the interesting part is the Vedanta, the real practical side of the Vedanta, does not destroy the world, but it explains it. It does not destroy the person, but explains him. It does not destroy the individuality, but explains it by showing the real individuality. It does not show that this world is vain and does not exist, but it says, understand what the world is so that it may not hurt you. I think these are the very few, very powerful statements, powerful teachings of the Vedanta, which has been put by Swamiji in a beautiful, I mean, a language. We have to think and we have to rethink and probably we have to meditate. The real practical side of the Vedanta is it does not destroy the world, but it explains it. It does not destroy the person, but explains him. It does not destroy the individuality, but explains it by showing the real individuality. It does not show that this world is vain and does not exist, but it says, understand what this world is so that it may not hurt you. So, this is the uniqueness of the Vedanta. So, it is not denying the world, it does not denying individuality, it does not deny you, and it does not deny anyone, but only denies the ignorance, or it only denies the Maya. That is what the theory of appearance. So, by studying Advaita Vedanta, by understanding and by putting into practice what we understand, we can understand and experience the unitary of existence. There's only one reality which has been manifested, which has been appearing as many realities. So, you'll be free from dualities, you'll be away from dualities. You may perceive it, but you don't get disturbed, you don't get affected. So you will be free from all the dualities. Then there is no fear, there is no ups and downs, and you will be living at the level of, or you will be experiencing the eternal bliss. That is the beauty of the Advaitic oneness. May that God or Almighty and the Supreme Self bless all of us so that we shall experience the Advaitic oneness and we shall always experience our real nature, that is eternal bliss. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hari Om Tat Sat. Shri Rama Krishna Arpanamastu.